Yeah. I want myself. Hey guys, I'm Andrew. This is my YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, comment, and today we will be doing a Marvel tier list. Let's get into it. First off, we're gonna start with No Way Home. No in the goated section. Why? Because it's everything we could dream about. We got Toby, Andrew, like generations of Spider-Man all crammed into one movie with iconic villains, classic callbacks, and legendary characters. Scratch it. Scratch it. Yeah. No, I'm not. All right, next is Civil War, and that is going into S tier. Iconic fight scenes. The airport fight is honestly one of the best scenes in the entire movie. And we get introduced as Tom Holland Spider Man for the first time in the MCU. The, I love the rift between Tony and Iron Man with the Soviet Accords. The Steve not telling Tony that Bucky killed his parents, heartbreaking. And it's everything that I want in an MCU film. Next, we're going into Avengers. Avengers is surprisingly B tier for me. It has its flaws. It's not one of the best Avengers movies from Phase One, but it's the first time the Avengers meet up. The put the hammer down and Tony calling for Point Break. Amazing. Other than that, the movie doesn't really do much for me. It's instead of yeah. Next, Avengers Age of Ultron. I gotta put this one in D tier. Not the greatest. Ultron is not a memorable villain. They killed off Quicksilver. Didn't like that. The only funny actual joke in this movie was you didn't see that coming. The banter between Quicksilver and Hawkeye. Next, Avengers uh, Infinity War. Eight is S tier. Love the movie. Probably one of my favorite Avengers film out of in the MCU. I love how the first time we get to see the Avengers lose a battle and actually suffer some major consequences. Thanos made threats. He was terrifying villain. I had chills running down me throughout the entire movie. Thor was uh awesome. Came this close. I hated Peter Quill in this movie. I hated that he learned from Nebula that uh, Thanos killed her and threw off Vormir. I think her reaction to telling Peter made his reaction to speed on Thanos waste a good movie. That's the only downfall that I have with this movie. That's why it's not in goaded. Next, we have Avengers Endgame. 2 decades worth of movies build up to this cinematic masterpiece. Funny characters, love to introduce to time travel. Surprised that uh I was very surprised when Captain America lifted Thor's hammers. Very happy about that. I've been waiting to see that since Age of Ultron when he saw him move it a tad, a little bit at the party scene. I love Nebula and War Machine's relationship where he's like, so he's an idiot. Love how Nebula killed her past self and convinced Gamora 2014 Gamora to turn on Thanos. I love the portal, like the last 40 minutes of this movie just blew me away to the portal scene with Sam Wilson saying on your left. Phenomenal. Love that movie. Love the last 40 minutes, best 40 minutes of my life. Love the hot potato game they do with the Infinity Gauntlet. Hated how they all pretty much all the six remaining Avengers either retired, died, or didn't like that. Other than that, that's the only downfall. Best movie ever. Next, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. This is S tier. Good movie, good characters. Marvel took a big risk with this movie, not knowing what's going to happen. James Gunn gave us a bunch of characters that we love and care for. Next, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It's, that C tier. It's not the C tier. Didn't love this movie. I thought Ego was uh overdid villain. I thought he was too cocky. I respect didn't like him. He didn't like the part that he put a tumor in Peter Quill's mother, made her have cancer. Yondu's death was one of the best death scenes in the entire MCU. I love how Peter struggles with family, but other than that, that's about it. Ant-Man, 8 S tier. Good. This is a fun heist movie. I love it. I love Luis. I love his like stories that he tells. Funny character. I love the introduction to Hank Pym, Hope Van Dyne. I daughter with Scotland with his daughter. Impactful. Best heist movie ever. Very curious on haven't seen Ant-Man yet. Quantumania, don't judge me on that. Curious to see when uh they got Darren Cross, what happens to him. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Not Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp. You shouldn't watch. The plot is terrible. The new characters are terrible. The entire movie is literally a game of hot potato with a tiny building that can shrink and grow. Didn't like that. The only reason why I went to this movie and saw it in theaters is to see what happened to Ant-Man and what he was doing during the events of Infinity War. Other than that, didn't really do much for me. Doctor Strange. Gotta go in detail. Didn't really love it. I loved Agent One, missed her. Thought Dormammu was a good villain with the Doctor Strange in a time loop, whatever. Other than that, I love Doctor Strange as a character, but he's one of the most powerful characters, but not the greatest movie. Iron Man is S tier. We get one of the greatest introductions to a beloved Marvel character since Phase One. It's the entire movie that kickstart the entire MCU. Robert Downey Jr. does a phenomenal job in this role. I love Obadiah Stane as my villain. He is my favorite villain out of the entire franchise. He's funny, starts off good, but ends up being bad. That was a plot twist. I love Rhodey. I gotta be honest, I love Terrence Howard as Rhodey. I don't like the new guy, John Cheadle. I don't like him as War Machine. Spider-Man No Way Home. As much as I love Spider-Man, like Spider-Man is my all-time favorites. Marvel character, but Homecoming is E tier for me. He does nothing impressive the entire movie. I get that it's supposed to be a rookie movie with him starting off as Spider-Man, him being mentored by Tony Stark, but the entire movie is him literally messing up, wanting to be a hero, messing up, and he has to get saved by Tony more than once. The only thing that he does that's impressive is save everybody at the Washington Monument. And I don't. He doesn't even throw a single punch to anybody the entire movie. But I think Vulture was a good villain. I loved the twist where where he is Liz's dad and he's this girl, uh, dad's girlfriend of Peter. Like that scene. Next, we have Spider-Man: No Way Home, which is an underrated movie in my opinion. I love the uh Mysterio plot twist, how he tricks Peter into giving him the Edith glasses. Love the Edith glasses. I love how they stood for even dead, I'm the hero. Quirky. Love how Tony did that. Nick Fury didn't like him being a scroll and Maria Hill, but I love the Europe scene. I love the relationship between him and MJ and saying him saying you I know Spider Man longer. FOS, friend of Spider Man. Love that. Black Panther. Oh dear God. Black Panther is a good movie. Not the best. Very overrated in my opinion. It's dumb. I hate don't get me wrong, Killmonger is a good villain, but don't love his backstory in that. I thought clawing him, no, I don't know what to say about this. The only love to stay on the cameo with him. Why don't I save these and put them over here? Other than that, I miss my boy Chadwick. He does a good job, but other than that, no. Captain Marvel. Gotta go D tier because didn't love it. I didn't I didn't love it. I loved how we waited like 19 years to see what happens to Nick Fury, and all it happens was he got a cat scratch for his eye. Thought that was a waste of a plot hole for his eyeball. I did like how uh the scrolls turned out to be good guys. I love that. Other than that, nothing. Pause it. Let's do a part two. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's do Jeopardy. Finish off this tomorrow. Black Widow is C tier. Uh, not really to say about this much. The first 10 minutes got me crying. But other than that, I waited like 10 years to see her solo film. And I don't like how they killed her off in Endgame and made it a prequel. Didn't work for me. Next is Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. Is A tier. Great casting. I love uh his father as a villain, trying to hear his mother's voice I love Shang-Chi. The bus scene was the greatest scene in the movie. I love the Trevor showed up again with that little furry dog, magical creature. Eternals. I it's the B tier. Great movie. I didn't like how they killed off most of the main Eternals. Uh, Favorite post credit scene of all time though. At the end, when uh Harry Styles and Pit Patrol showed up as Thanos' brother. Oh my god. Oh my god. Best MCU post credit scene of all time. WandaVision. This is S tier. One of the only or one of the few uh TV shows that they did a phenomenal job with for a like 9 episode TV series. Each week was back to back nonstop action. I love all like the fan theories of what's happening next off all the cliffhangers. I I lost my mind when Pietro Maximoff showed up at the front door uh of Wanda's house. But I had some I was like, what if it was Magneto, like in the comics? Like Magneto showed up at the front door, that would have been made it that scene 10 times better. But I thought the Ralph Boner joke was kind of mid. Falcon and Winter Soldier shouldn't watch. Not the best. One of the more forgettable MCU shows, but Falcon gets a sick costume. I'll tell you that. Iron Man 1 is A tier. Love Obadiah Stane as an MCU villain. One of the most memorable. I love how he turned to be a good guy for a little bit, but then turned like, oh, he was the one selling weapons. Love the first 20 minutes of this. I love Tony. I love how immature and sarcastic he be, and then eventually throughout the movie he turns into the most iconic characters of the entire MCU. Loki is A tier. Love Loki, one of the best, other than WandaVision, is one of the best MCU shows. Love Owen Wilson as Morbius. The only thing that I found a little weird was him liking a girl version of himself, and then they killed he who must not be named, and then destroyed the entire fabrication of the multiverse for Satan to come and take over. Uh, what if I love what if it's God tier? I don't know what's with that. It's God tier. It's goaded. It's goaded. I love it. I love animated stuff. I'm a sucker for that. Love all like different like what if uh Chadwick Boseman became Star Lord. I hope they. My one thing, like, what if Fit Theory for the season 2 is what if Peter Quill didn't beat Thanos? That's one of my theories of what would happen. Hawkeye, not E tier, not the greatest. Moving up. Moon Knight, not the best. You shouldn't watch it. It doesn't make any sense. Plot holes. Nothing. The CGI was bad. Iron Man is B tier. I love the Mandarin twist. That he's not the real Mandarin. Trevor's not the real Mandarin. Didn't like how Tony was a freaking idiot in this movie. I didn't like how he gave out his address. Usually he learns from his mistakes, but this is the one actual time Tony doesn't learn from his mistakes, and I don't like it. Incredible Hulk, you shouldn't watch. It's not uh Mark Ruffalo sucks. The only thing that made this movie special was Tony Stark at the post credit scene talking about the Avengers initiative to General Ross. Thor was a speed here action pack. I love the introduction to it. The relationship between Jane Foster and Chris Evans was great. Love the kid iconic duo. Thor: Dark World is a forgettable movie. Not the best. Thor Ragnarok is A tier. I love the pie. First 15 minutes, I love the scene by the battle between Hulk and Thor. I love the iconic "he's a friend from work." Love how that was actually, fun fact, given to Chris Hemsworth by a Make a Wish kid who was visiting the set that day. I love how Chris Hemsworth cared enough to uh, care about that kid's uh, ideas. Love that. Let's see, what's next? Captain America is A tier, fun, action packed. I love the how it's set in World War II. How he's so determined, even though he's weak. He's so determined. Is has a good heart. Risking his life on the grenade, so everybody can live. Wasn't in love with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I know everybody loved it. For me, it wasn't good. I thought everything was all over the place. The Nick Fury dying and coming back to life, that's good. I didn't like how they hypnotized Bucky Barnes and brought him back as the Winter Soldier. Uh, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse House of Madness is actually S tier for me. I know it's an overhyped movie and the title doesn't really live up to Multiverse House of Madness, but the Illuminati just stole the show for me. I love how Mr. Fantastic said he was supposed to be the smartest person in the world, but he's like, Wanda, Black Bolt will destroy you in one as soon as he like opens his mouth and whatever. I love how they made it everybody look like they're a freaking idiot. I love that about that movie. Uh Miss Marvel is B tier. Love Comic Con. I love how it was like comic book action movie. I love how she is like a rip off to Captain Marvel. I love can't wait for the Marvels. Thor Love and Thunder. Great movie. Love that they brought back Jane Foster as a different version of Thor. Gore was Christian Bale did a good job playing Gore, but the script that in the writing that he was given was awful. I think Gore was he did a good job portraying for Gore, but I thought Gore was a wasted villain in this movie. She-Hulk was all over the place. It was fun, so I put it at A tier. Werewolf by Night, you shouldn't watch. It doesn't have anything to do with Marvel. Hopefully, it's a one-off character. Wakanda Forever was a good movie, good tribute to Chadwick Boseman and his legacy. I thought it was disrespectful that that they named his the child after him. I thought it was disrespectful to the Chadwick Boseman and the Black Panther character. They just shouldn't have done that. I get they were trying to do, but it's disrespectful in my opinion. I know that's a hot take. Guardians of the Galaxy is A tier. A tier. I love how it's like a fun Christmas special. I can't seem to get uh, a certain song out of my head. I don't know what Christmas is, but Christmas time is here. That's a very good song. Uh, and then B tier is not Falcon. Black Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It was a fun movie. Kane was a medicine villain. He made threats. I just didn't like how they didn't bring Luis, Dave, uh, and Baba, the dude who plays Baba Yaga, back in the movie. I didn't like how it they didn't bring any of those characters back, which just brought it really low for me because that crew was the highlight of the first and second movie. But that being said, that is my tier list. Like, subscribe, tell me in the comments how you will rate your Marvel tier list, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.